Yo, what's up? This Mr. Dow from that group, Jodeci, representing Cristo Chrome. And you know I got soul, baby.
Okay, cool. And along with that, you have your newest venture, Cristo Chrome Music. So can you kind of talk about that and how it all came together?
Well, Cristo Chrome is me and my business partner, Cassandra Mills, who was record executive for many years and who's been my long lost friend and manager, not long lost, but forever in time. We just decided that over the time that, we've been working together for the last 17 years and decided to come through and have this, idea about this, virtual record company that we could put together. And, we started putting the pieces of the puzzle together and, it came about this, how we're going to run it and change the way that, that record companies are viewed, especially like, a virtual record company that we put together, how they're looked at, and the way we sell records and market records. And it's not only a record company, it's also, a platform where you can buy production, beats. There's a lot of different things as a record company, but, that's pretty much how that came about.
Okay, cool. And what can we kind of expect your role to be with the company? Is it more so on the business side of things, or are you going to be heavily involved with the music aspect of it as well?
That's the beauty of it. We have, Cassandra's more like, she's the brains and I'm the beats.
Okay.
Pretty much. We work hand in hand, so it's like we come together, we both have these ideas, hers are more on paper, mine more behind a recording mixer, behind the studio board. So, but they all come together. We both feed off each other creatively, and, as well as, business and ideas, marketing strategies, everything. We both, she come to me, presents them, I go to her and present ideas, and that's why we had this relationship that we could, even though we disagree, we always end up agreeing at the end of the day. Like we both had the same vision of how we wanted to put it together, and, pull pieces from here and I pull pieces from there, and we kept putting them together, and put the jigsaw together.
Right. And what do you think will kind of separate you guys from other music companies that are, going on right now?
Well, a lot of different things. I mean, as far as Cristo Chrome, we have many beautiful facets. Like, you can, as far as you come to Cristo Chrome, it's really a platform where artists have a place to really, grow, because in the record business nowadays, there's no A&R development, there's no kind of development, there's really no place for indie artists or somebody that doesn't have a major label to go and really be heard in this magnificent, superb talent out there that's just going to the wayside because they have nowhere to go and to be listened to. And being that we come from both musical backgrounds and been very successful in the music industry, we take time to listen. We don't sign everything we listen to because everything is not great, obviously, but there's a lot of great things that we take time to listen to, pretty much everything that's handed to us. And, we can critique, and you can come to Cristo Chrome, you can really get honest advice, you can get help on how to, market a video or market if you're an independent artist, if you go an independent route, or you can come and get production. You can learn how to produce, or you can come if you want to sit down and be involved with Cristo Chrome. We see you as a potential Cristo Chrome artist or client, then you might have a chance to be on the roster of Cristo Chrome. It's a lot of different things that we offer that major labels really don't offer anymore, have anymore. We have development, artist development. We have different things that artists don't really have the time to really get you to understand the business side of this industry as well as the creative side of it. Because we've basically been, as artists, been forced to just understand the creativity of creating music and not knowing how to exploit the music we create.
Right.
So.
And, of course, the big news that everyone's been talking about, Jodeci's reunion at the Soul Train Awards. You guys are going to be performing there, so how did that all come together?
Jodeci has been, as everybody knows, the foundation of, my career early in the days, but, they've been one of the Jodeci reunion, Jodeci album, and, the mistake that people made, that Jodeci never broke up. Jodeci's always been together, we just ventured off and did different things.
Yeah.
But, we finally came together and had a nice body of work that we felt was, a great album, that we've been working on here and there, bits and pieces, and we, by occasion, JoJo touring and my brother and me doing production and other business ventures that we have going on, we came together and we put together an album that we love, not just to put together some music that fans would like, just to say we got another Jodeci album, because any group can do that, and when you do that, you kind of miss the prize and the mark of what you're really shooting for and expectations of what you set for yourself. Because that's why everything is about timing. Even with Cristo Chrome, it's timing. We could have got together and did a label, years and years ago. But, we took our time and waited for the right time and opportunity, because if you don't, seize the moment, sometimes you miss your opportunity. If you jump the gun, you miss it. So, same thing with Jodeci.
Yeah.
At the right time, and then, Soul Train, everybody jumped on, Jodeci, they got a single coming out, and we opened up the Soul Train Award. So, obviously that's what it is right there.
Cool, because I remember we interviewed Casey and JoJo when their album came out last year, and we had asked them about a Jodeci an album, and they said they didn't have any plans. So, what kind of changed in that year span?
Well, I think that the album was already already in the works. It's just that we got so flooded with everybody asking us for a date, a time, a date, and kind of got tired of getting everybody the same. But it's coming. So we figured if we kind of back up off it, everybody would back up off us. But it was always, the ball was always rolling. It was just, we didn't have a time frame, and it's like, well, you said this year, you said last year, you said Christmas Eve, or you said Black Friday, then you get bogged down with these questions, and you really don't have a date until the time is right. Now is the right time, so we're really in the fast lane, moving towards the, release of the single and the album.
Cool. And of course, you guys will be performing a new single. I believe it's called Nobody Wins. So can you talk about that song?
We're going to do a little bit of it, yeah.
Can you kind of talk about that song a little bit and what we can expect sonically?
It features B.O.B., the rapper B.O.B.
Okay.
It's a really good song. It's a really good song. So, if you're going to detail, I'd just rather everybody just hear it and enjoy it, instead of me trying to explain it before they hear it.
Yeah.
But it's a really good song, and I think that people are going to really, really like the message that it's saying. The concept of the song, I think they really like it. And it's, Jodeci.
Okay. Was it produced by Jodeci?
Devontae.
Okay, cool. And, the last time we spoke, you had mentioned that Jodeci kind of has like a vault of songs that you guys have recorded throughout the years. So with this song in particular, what year was it recorded in?
Well, this is not one of the songs off the vault. What I mean by vault, and when people get confused, is like we hold on to a body of songs that everybody's going to also release one day, but it's a collection, and it's a body of work that over the years, maybe later in the years, we'll release it, but it's not nothing that we're just going to surprise people with. This album, we actually took time to put it out for the times now. It's not like we just dug back in the face and just threw something together to make an album. This is an album that we focused on and set down as a concept, and, rewrote a lot of songs and came up with a lot of new ideas and everything. But like the songs that we have put away are songs that, bits and pieces of songs or whole songs that we, thought of and we put in, but when Jodeci records the album, even Forever My Lady, the Diary of a Madman, the Showed Out the Party Hotel, we go in and we record maybe, 50 to 70 songs. We start off with a concept. And some of the songs don't make the album. Don't mean they're not great songs.
Yeah.
They don't fit time right then. And every great artist that have songs that don't make the album.
Right.
People are like, why did you put this on the album? Why did you put this on the album? Because sometimes your album flows to a certain rhythm and a certain pattern that you want to stay in.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. And I know, like you mentioned, the album, you guys have been working on that too, and I read that Timberland, he said that he's been working on the project with you guys, which kind of surprises a lot of people considering the history. So what was the decision to, get him back on board?
Well, I think that between Timberland and the whole thing, I think it was a lot of disagreements with a lot of families doing. Every family has disagreements. I think the media really played it up more than what it was. People out there going. But small businessmen and small business people, they won't let people create platforms where you can't work together and be on the same page. Even though sometimes it might be uncomfortable the way you got there, but smart people doesn't do that. You don't do that. If you create a platform that maybe, okay, well, we don't see eye to eye right now, but later in the future, when the time is right, we're able to sit down and hash things out, whatever it may be, whether good or bad, or we disagree creatively or whatever, then we sit down and do it. And I think it was one of those type of things that, sometimes you let the media just push you so far apart, you start believing, well, why do I not, speak to, my friend or speak to my, partner or speak to somebody? Sometimes people draw wedges between you and you don't even know why it exists. So I think it was more like that type of situation, It wasn't like nobody had following nobody, Things are misunderstood and misconstrued, but at the end of the day, it is what it is,
Yeah. And, with Timbaland being on board, what kind of things did he bring to the table? Because I know he has a very distinctive sound, and so do you guys. So how did you guys, is it going to be more of a Jodeci type of project, or is it going to be more of a Timbaland type of project?
Oh, well, it couldn't be a Timbaland type of project. See, a lot of people don't know, my brother really showed Timbaland how to produce records, so his sound wasn't too far away from Jodeci. It was just like, you know, he took elements of Jodeci and, you know, created his own sound, which is great. But he took his root and bass came from an element of what he learned from, you know, being with us the years in the basement and being around. And so it's like pretty much when we worked together, because we worked on a lot of things together as well. So you got the sound that was mixed with his sound and, you know, Jodeci's sound. So it would never be in like one direction. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It would never be this, oh, it sounds like Timberland, or it sounds like just Devontae, because the mix is going to sound like a mix.
Yeah.
No?
Yep. And with this Jodeci comeback that you guys have, as well as Cristo Chrome, but more so the Jodeci project, because R&B sales aren't what they used to be. I don't think any album actually has gone platinum this year. So how are you guys going to...
I was just reading that too.
Yeah. So how are you guys going to measure success for this album?
Well, there's different ways you can measure success. I mean, if you can go sell at an arena and you have 15, 20,000 people still screaming that you're singing songs from the 90s, so it's not even worried about the songs that we put out now. I mean, to me, that's a measure of success. I mean, because you have so many avenues where people can get music, don't mean you're not selling records. It means that people just not buying them. Because, you know, why pay for something you can get for free? And that's where the business have, you know, fallen. And we have to learn how to stop that, I think, in the business, but you can't stop it. And I think the level of success is going to be measured by the fans that we still pull, you know, because all the money's in touring and, you know, the outcomes we have and the love and, you know, all the media outlets that we're exposed to. To me, that's the only really way you can measure success, because you hear songs on the radio 30 or 40 times a day, and they don't even sell records, so you can't measure it by that, you know?
Yeah.
This is my personal thing.
Yep. And it also seems like the media has really given the group a really bad reputation in recent years. How do you kind of cope with that? Because it seems like, especially in today's society, everyone focuses on the gossip rather than the legacy that you guys have built.
Well, unfortunately, what really silences gossip, and unfortunately you would never really kill it off, because people make a living. They feed their families off of negativity by tearing people down. People take a living off of that. You know, so you'll never stop that. No matter how much good you do, the bad you do feeds people. You know, it puts food on people's plates.
Yep.
So you're never going to stop that. But, I mean, it's like, you can't, nowadays as an artist, you live so much under a microscope. You have to almost walk a chalk line every time you walk outside. You got to walk a tightrope. But, I mean, you know, it's not fair for us to live like that, but that's what it is. I mean, it's become a social media ran society that we come up in and we live in, and that's just one of the perks that we have to deal with. And I mean, as far as like the negativity that Jodeci gets, I mean, you know, like I say, you can't live by the gossip. You can just stop giving them ammunition to shoot at you.
Yep.
That's the only thing you can do. That's the only thing you can do. I mean, if you give them ammunition, people will take it and shoot at you.
Yep.
You know, that's what I tell the guys in my group. We tell each other all the time. You know, no matter. And like I say, you can't beat yourself up about things that you do. If you slip and fall, just get up and keep going. You know, you just hit them with it. I mean, one thing people can't stop, and no matter how much the media tries to take you down, they can't stop a hit record.
Right.
So.
And of course, on the flip side, even though the media has really given you guys a lot of negative press, the artists, the people making the music, they actually still continue to show you love. Like Drake actually sampled a Jodeci record just recently.
Yeah, I heard that.
So, you know, looking back at it now, since it's been 20 years since the last Jodeci record, what do you think your impact has been on music today, as far as the sound or even just the style?
I mean, you look at artists like Justin Timberlake, Justin Bieber, and that's crossing over not being R&B, because, you know, we didn't ever cross over to pop crossed over to us, you know, and it's like you look at every artist that really comes out, you know, like I said, Justin Timberlake, Justin Bieber, Usher, you know, Drake. You look at all these artists, they mention Jodeci and they rhyme, or they rhyme and singing, you know, every line got a Jodeci line from generations. I mean, you know, after, like right now, you know, you got kids 13, 14 rapping, you know, Jodeci's back and this, madness. You know, they probably can tell the characters, but they know the music. They know the songs. They know the lyrics. You know, to me, that's how you measure success, like you asked me earlier. Yeah. When I see things like that, 13-year-old, 14-year-old girls at a concert, which they shouldn't even be there, singing our songs and every lyric on. But, you know, that's how you know that you've touched not only just people, but you've touched, you know, different cultures, too. You know, you branch out to other cultures, not just, you know, black culture or the hip-hop culture. You've touched everybody. And it comes full circle.
Right.
That's why Jodeci, you know, not taking away from a lot of other R&B groups that come out and try to imitate Jodeci, but, you know, that's why we sustain not putting album out 20 years. That's why we're still relevant in today's market.